Okay, thanks so much, our viewers. This is Gertrude Asmasio and my colleague Murungi Elijah Kelvin, and live on Elkem Media. And please just like it, share, and of course you leave us with the comments and everything so that we shall keep sharing. Today I was supposed to be having some other guests, but due to other circumstances, we are now having another discussion. However, it is not left out. We shall still push with it, the topic that has already moved and that already on your tables, knowing that we shall be talking about it at least, God willing, next week. However, right now we are going to be talking about how the learners and parents are prepared ahead of the opening of schools in 2022. Of course, it goes around with the parents and the learners and teachers, government, everything. So today we are really going to push about that. And please put us your comments so that we see how we build on it. Thank you. I'm with Elijah. Please say hi to our viewers.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Gertrude Asibazia. For the viewers that are joining us right now, my name is Elijah Kelvin Murungi, and today I'm a guest, yeah?
Sure.
I'm a guest because for a long time people have known me for being a host. So those that are watching us live on Elkem Media, this is the platform, and as she has told you, we request that you keep this conversation moving. You can share with your friends, you can leave us with a comment, and you can leave us with everything. So thank you so much, Gertrude. Yeah, that is my salutation.
You're welcome. Also take the pleasure to welcome you, of course. You know, as a guest, as a host, I have to welcome my guest.
Yeah.
Going direct to the discussion,
Yes.
we are seeing, of course, the schools are going to open because from yesterday's presidential conversation, we see that now we're no longer looking at the vulnerable people to be immunized, but everyone above the age of 18.
Yeah.
Meaning very soon the schools are going to be opened, and of course, mind you, the university students and tertiary students are already in school. But still we need to see how prepared these students are, and also the pupils who are there in the community, and how prepared the parents are, because given the fact that we've been in lockdown, the economy has reduced.
Yeah.
Yes, so I want us to first see the perspective of the parents. Do you think parents are prepared?
All right, according to me, Gertrude, I would say parents, to a certain extent, they are not so... Okay, they would be prepared, but in some... Of course, to a smaller extent, to a larger extent, rather, to a larger extent, they are not prepared. Why am I saying so? Because first of all, we need to look at what do the parents need to make sure that they have their students or their children back to school. You understand? And then we also have to look at what are some of the things, some of the things that the parents need to see that the children are in school. Now that goes back to one, the tuition. You understand? That also goes back to preparing these children, because the children themselves need to be prepared to see that at the end of the day, when we are in 2022, they do what? They send their children back to school. So now, according to me, I think to a greater extent, these parents are not yet prepared, because if you look at to the prevailing circumstances, I don't know how anyone else out there sees it,
Yes.
but really we are having a tough economy. Yeah. We are not very, very
People
fine.
are bleeding internally.
Yes, people are bleeding internally, and they're not having these conversations. However, for me, I would say, yeah, it is good. You've actually brought this conversation in the right time, because we need to see how prepared are they. And to me, to a greater extent, the parents are not yet really prepared. Yes.
And why do I say that they are prepared to a greater extent?
Really?
Because parents have been longing. Parents are tired of children at home. Because you hear a statement from a parent, but when a school is opening, so this thing triggers my mind, and I'm like, don't you think this parent is really prepared?
You see, Gertrude, there are always two things. There is always a need and a want. And at the same time, there is always something that you need and something that is important. You understand? So now, parents want to have their children in school. But then, how do the children get back to what? to the schools. You understand? So we are looking at that kind of preparedness, because at the end of the day, it is not just about wanting your child to go to school. You understand? Tomorrow you're going to get to the schools and you don't have the tuition. How is the wanting
Elijah,
helping
wait.
in that context? Yes.
These parents, schools have been closed for 2 years now.
Yes.
And a parent always knew that this child has to go back to school at a given time.
Yes.
You mean they have not done any saving?
Well, having the
Because the preparedness for now is automatically financial.
Yes.
Because there's aspect of fees, other requirements, utilities, and so on. So it is financial preparedness for the parents.
Yes. Now, the preparedness being financial, it is not actually only being financial. There are also other factors, because as I've told you, having your having the children in school, you need to also prepare the children themselves. You understand? Because at the end of the day, you're going to be saving. You've talked about parents should have been saving by now. You're going to talk about that the money is there, but again, the person you want to invest the money in, they have other agendas. You understand? They have other goals, other different goals. You understand? And now, at some point, me when I look at, I've been so much in the rural areas.
Yes.
Understand? And now the issues are even translated. Now parents have stopped lamenting about reopening of schools, and now they are advocating for alternatives. Alternatives like what? Can we just have, you've heard about parents, because of course you're a social worker. Some parents are just looking at, can I have someone that is getting my daughter married? You understand? Yes, these are the things, these are true stories, because I remember the last time I was in field, that was in Masindi in Paka. You understand? We had conversations from children that have been forced. You understand? Forced into marriage. You understand? And others were not forced, but for them they feel like I'm old. You understand? A child, the years have been about 2 years when these children are not in school, so they are not the kind of children that they used to be. They are exposed. So, preparedness in regard to the parents themselves. First of all, if you look at the finances, they are not doing well, and secondly, if you look at their children, they are also not really prepared. Unlike maybe other people in the urban centers.
Elijah, I'm saying we only have 1 full month to the opening of school. Yes. Now the question is, what should be done to see that these parents are prepared? And even the children are prepared, because we have not yet talked about the children. But now let's first see the medicine for these parents.
Yes.
Do you think they need something to also prepare their mind so that they organize the children to be ready for school opening?
Yes. You see, I would say maybe government needs to give an upper hand. But of course, government will say that we have universal primary education, we have universal secondary education, and all that. You understand?
Is also there a need for psychological preparedness of these parents?
Yes, of course.
Through dialogues.
Yes, that is very, very important. That is very key. In fact, we need to have parents right now. They should actually be watching this show so that they can be able to know how are they going to deal with this kind of a situation.
Yes.
So you've asked for a recommendation, like what do I think?
Specifically for parents.
Yes, specifically for the parents. First of all, we need to have that the parents talk to their children, so that the children can have mindset change. You understand? If the mindsets have been diverted, because now some girls have started getting some money, you understand? And then the boys have been making their Rolexes, they have been selling whatever they are selling, you understand? So at the end of the day, the Baganda say to Inacho Bagamba.
You have nothing to tell them.
You have nothing to tell them.
You have the experience to tell them.
Yes, you understand. They will tell you that I'm already making my money. Where would I go back to school? So parents, first of all, need to sit down their children and tell them again what they used to tell them, that education is the key to success. Understand? However,
and this time they should now change the meaning of success. Yes. It is not money that makes you successful.
And if they are telling them that thing, they need to also they need to use other techniques of telling them it is a key to success. Because if they say it in the other usual format, I don't think children.
We are likely not to have children in classes.
Yes, in classes.
Okay.
So one, I was talking about the mindset change. You understand, parents to speak to their children. Then secondly, the parents themselves. If we are left with about a month, parents right now should be looking at what schools am I able to afford according to how much money that I'm earning. You understand? If you used to support, let us say, a child at Kampala parents, and today Kampala parents in your institution, you're not able to afford, does it mean your child is going to sit at school? No. Look for a school within your budget. You understand? So that means that parents have to start preparing as early as now. That is if they have not been preparing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And that is where we have reached looking at how prepared the parents are. Of course, I'm also a parent, and
yes, of course.
I've been thinking how prepared I am in case the school is open. Yes, I think I also have to financially, psychologically prepare more and see which school suits my children
and your budget
and my budget. And of course, also seeing the society. You know, also the society can make you decide otherwise. I'm seeing Elijah's child going to the other school, which is posh, and you know. So as parents, I think we really need to see what really suits us, because this period of COVID taught us a lot of lessons. And let's look at learners. Do you think learners are ready?
You see, now these learners, okay, let us start from which kind of learners.
Yes.
Now, when you look at these, we know, you know, in Uganda we have quite a number of learners. We have those ones in the tertiary institutions. We have those ones in universities. You have in secondary, primary, and then these other ones, ECD, whatever, early childhood development and stuff. So when you look at those ones, of course, the ones of ECD, those ones are okay. You understand? And then when we get to the primary children, I have people that I've known. I remember by the time they closed the schools. By the way, these are real stories. By the time they closed the schools, I remember there was a girl. She was about 12 years. Now 12 years, not 12 years, and she was in P5. You understand? 12 years and in P5. I remember in 12 years, I was in senior 1, 12 years.
That was you.
Yes. So I'm just trying to put it at this scale.
Yes.
That 12 years, you're in P5. And now, there's been a lockdown for other 2 years.
Yes.
You're in P5.
You're
So that means in
years.
P5 again, you're in 14 years. So it means by the time you finish senior, by the time you finish P7, you'll be about 16 years.
Yes.
You understand? Now 16 years, I mean, the thinking of a 14-year-old child right now, you understand, it is really so different.
Yes.
So it means even primary, we are not safe. At the level of primary, we are not what? We are not safe, because for the girls by 14 years, they're already having changes in their bodies.
Yes.
They're already having their periods.
With this hybrid, even 9 years.
Hey!
Yes.
9 years. So these children, I will not say that they are prepared. They are not prepared at all. So we need to be having, right now we need to be having conversations with these children to try to show them that, hey, we understand this has been this and this and this, but again, there is also a future for you. You understand? So if there is a future for you, how can you be able to catch up with the situation? So the children, their level of preparedness, according to what I know, especially those ones in the rural areas,
Lies in the hands of the parents.
Yeah.
So the preparedness of the children, especially in rural areas, lie in the hands of the parents.
Yes.
While, you know, I've also been saying, I've been having motion that is saying that children in urban areas are studying. And in
true.
the rural areas, they know we are in lockdown and there's no education.
There is nothing like education.
Really, the government has a greater
Role to play.
A greater role to play to see that the rural child balances with the urban child.
Sure.
Because right now we have 2 types of children or students. There's the urban who has never stopped
To study.
studies as usual. And then there is the rural since 2020. The child is home and still confident we are under lockdown. And of course, that one takes us to the teachers. When we talk about the teachers, the proprietors, the owners of these schools,
Yes.
do you think they are prepared?
See now, owners of the schools, now owners of the schools, it is even worse, Gertrude. Actually, I don't know what schools our children, our young brothers and sisters are going to go to, because as far as I know, some schools in Masindi today, they have turned into guest houses.
Yes.
Others are churches. Others, they are doing business rentals. You understand? And others, that is where they hide, while they take their what? Why they sip their alcohol. You understand? So now, the schools, actually the stakeholders themselves now,
Yes.
because now the schools are the whole gist of this situation. Because the schools, we can talk about education and nothing happens as long as the schools are not taking not having a role to play. So now, Gertrude, the schools are really not, to me, the schools are not ready. We have seen it in the papers, we have seen it in the media, we have seen it in the news. Schools are trying to, how do they say it in English? They are trying to do advocacy. They are advocating for help. They are crying, they are seeking for help. And so, to me, if that is the kind of a situation, what can we do? First of all, one of the things that I could recommend to government is to give tax holiday. You get tax holidays, because when you give a school tax holidays, they have not been doing what? They have not been performing. So when you cut off those taxes, you understand at the end of the day, at least we are able to be sure that this school is going to keep moving.
Yes.
But when they don't have tax holidays, others will start thinking that now I need to pay for this, I need to pay for this, I need to pay for this. At the end of the day, I'm not opening. Let me use the school to do something else. That is one. Then secondly, I would still say that the government itself, it should actually look into the whole issue of providing relief. Understand? This time round, yes, we know that the 100,000 came through, even to those that were not, yes, that were not able to get to do it, that got the 100,000 when they are not supposed to get the 100,000. You get? So, me, I would still say that we can look at the categories of their schools, because we know very well the ministry has it on record that this school performs like this, this one performs like this. You understand? They are big schools, and at the end of the day, they do not need relief. But how about the schools that are crawling? How about a school that has started yesterday, and that is where someone's daughter or someone's son is? So they can look at least if it is a boarding school, let them be able to give them something. You understand?
Sure.
Yes, as much as even if it's private, because the government schools are less than the private schools.
Private schools are helping the government.
Yeah, they are helping the other population.
Yes.
They are actually supplementing on the education sector. So now, government schools, the government can actually provide some kind of relief. It is in terms of beans, if it is in terms of posho, because this is what the what depend on. And then thirdly, we've had a lot of borrowing that government is doing. Can't government itself borrow to see that these programs, they have seen programs of the Youth Livelihood Fund, the Nyoga, the now I'm hearing the parish model, parish development model.
Yeah.
That's what we have currently. So now, can't we have government provide some kind of funds that the schools can be able to pick and then pay back? You get? Because now, a school is not going to go to the bank to borrow money. They already have a lot of debts in the bank.
The bank will sell the school and the pupils.
You understand? Collateral security. So now, if government can actually look into having some I don't want to say circles, okay, something like that, that at the end of the day, a school can go and pick, let us say 50 million to facilitate the processes in school. That, let us say, maybe it can pick about 10 million, depending on your expenditures, depending on how the banks do it. They look at How have you been saving? How have you been spending? So this is the money that you deserve. Understand? So that could be one of the things to prepare the schools themselves into reopening of schools in 2021. But otherwise, schools are also they are not
Schools
performing
are not
well.
doing well.
Yeah.
That is the owners of the schools and the school structure itself. They are in dilapidated situation because even government schools, we've been talking about private, but we've seen government schools where the classrooms they have anthills. I don't know what the government is doing.
The other day we were in Kijunjubwa.
Yes.
In Kijunjubwa, the only school they had in the community, the wind came, it blew off the roof.
Yes.
You understand? Now, luckily enough, that is when the president imposes the lockdown, and when the
So
people
they were privileged.
yes, they are privileged, because now I'd be wondering, and it is not the first time, by the way, it is happening. Understand?
Yeah.
So the window, the blew off the rooftop, and now the children went back home. But Gertrude, we are left with about a month. That is only December, and in January we expect those children to be back in that same school, because it is a community school, and that is the only. Actually, it's a government school.
It's a government.
Yes, and that is the only school that can accommodate those children. But otherwise, other schools are distant.
Yeah.
So now, up to today, it has not been worked on. I mean, where are those children going to study from?
I think the issue has to go back to the district, because I personally understood that there are plans of working on it.
Okay.
But of course, bureaucracy. It has delayed.
Yeah, it has. No, these things of working on something. You see, in the morning I was thinking about something. Now, currently we are hearing of. I'm just getting into the other issue, but of course we are still in line.
Yes.
So currently we are having issues to do with bombings. You understand? Sometimes we had things to do with guns, that everyone is holding a gun here and there. Understand? But again, in the same country, we have things to do with corruption. We have things to do with services, service delivery. You get? And then I was thinking, the way government is actually is its reaction, or how it is focusing on the whole issue of security. Now, security and corruption. Okay, security and money. Which thing is easier to curb? I mean, okay, guns and money. Which thing is able which thing can be got faster? To me, I think it is okay. Like I'm talking about. Sorry for the confusion a little bit. I'm talking about the people that actually steal the money, and they say that we are investigating.
Yes.
They know very well that the permanent secretary issues out the money, and then the accountants, and then this and this.
You know,
but
all the lines.
you know all the lines. You understand? But we are investigating. You understand? And they hardly care about that. Be it even if it is money for health, the money will go. We are still doing what? Investigating. Same thing in the education sector.
Yes.
You understand? But when the guns are here, very fast we have already caught the what?
It definitely is a topic to discuss. It depends on the interest of the state. Where does the interest lie? Your interest lies in education, because at your level, what else can you think about? You think about the education of our children, the education, but what is the heads of the state? What are they thinking? What is priority to them? Anyway, that one is a discussion to another day.
I know that is a discussion of another day, but
about the preparedness of proprietors, including also the government, as far as school opening is concerned. And of course, we are looking at the structures at this time, where we've seen there are so many structures in school, of schools, which are now housing the what? Anthills. They have anthills. Others are broken. Others have the teachers who are residing around put their what?
Bins, that is where they keep.
You saw all those
they
photos.
Have become granaries.
They have become granaries, So really, it again comes back to us to think and really think on how prepared the government is. Because of recent, I talked to the inspector of schools of Masindi, and she said they were supposed to have opened schools for the administrators to be in school. These are head teachers are supposed to be in schools to prepare exactly prepare the premises. The school have to be smart, but who cares to follow? No one. But these teachers are on payroll. They are getting their salaries as usual.
And
actually,
for what?
I think this lockdown, teachers really have enjoyed life. Okay, let's go to the teachers. And how do you think they are prepared right now for the opening of schools?
For the teachers, it is even very evident. It's evident. For the schools, we may compromise somehow, but for the teachers, it is evident that they have switched. They have switched. A teacher today who is riding border and is earning a minimum of about 30,000 in a day, and then is getting 150 in a private school. In fact, 100,000. Exactly. You understand? And then that 100,000 can even be gotten in a week. So you expect the teacher to drop border cycling to come back in class to teach? Even if it were me, I wouldn't actually go with that. Exactly. So what am I trying to say? Teachers are not prepared at all. In fact, they are finding better things to do. There is I watched a certain. They were interviewing a certain teacher some time back, and this is what he said. He said he regrets the day he went for the course of education. Why? Because he says, I wish this lockdown had actually come earlier so that my eyes could be open like this. Yes. Because he was saying, honestly, he's from Kampala. Now, at least a person in a border in Masindi, at least they can earn about 30K, 30,000. You understand? But in Kampala, this person said for him is earning at least 50,000, at least in a day. And he cannot fail to go back with something at home. You understand? But now you are saying in school, you're on a monthly salary, and also the monthly salary comes after 2 months. You understand? By the time you're going in the next month, you're already demanding. They have given you about 40%, 50% of your salary. So it was like me, I cannot be able to get back to things of schools. In fact, I'm finding some other things to do. I'm riding this border today so that I generate my capital, and at the end of the day, find some other better thing to do. So now, if we have teachers, if that teacher is like that, how many other more teachers do you think also have the same mindset?
But we have teachers who are called by God. You know, professional times they are also
it's a calling, it's a talent.
There are those who are really called, and they do it out of passion. And such a type of a teacher, do you think even now they are prepared, or there's something still missing?
Well, now for those kinds of teachers, I think there are some of them, let us call them desperate. Yes, because I'm sorry to use that kind of a language, but I would call them desperate. If there is a teacher, in fact, who is still waiting on the reopening of schools, those people, they're the ones you're saying that is their calling.
Are they desperate?
Because if it is 2 years, and a teacher has not yet found an alternative of something else to do, it means that is a calling, as you've said it. It is the desperacy. You understand?
Yes.
So those kinds of teachers are also supposed to be prepared, because now, if you look, I know there are a lot of people who make comedy and they're trying to show how teachers have even forgotten English. Understand? But those are true things. There are some teachers who have forgotten the language. Just like the children have forgotten how to write. Yes, they have forgotten. Science teachers don't know much about English. That one is on record. I had my teacher, and they had the content. You understand? At the end of the day, the English was not okay. You get?
So you mean these ones have forgotten the English?
Not only the English, but even the concepts themselves. These things you have to practice. Okay, maybe we are looking at those ones who are veterans in teaching. Let me call them veterans in teaching. But how about this university graduate who has just rolled out and he started, and at the end of the day, he started to practice. Before you know, lockdown. Before you know, 2 years down. Now, where has he been practicing? We all know that practice makes perfect, and at the end of the day, you continue to do what? So to me, something that I would say is that these teachers need to be trained.
They need to undergo refresher
Yes,
training.
yes. If it can be 1 month, if it can be at least 2 weeks, just to put them back in the system, for them to know that hey, this is what we've been doing, and we are getting back to chalk. We are getting back to cleaning the chalkboard. Yes, because if they don't at least undergo, let me call it empowerment. At least let them be empowered somehow. You understand? For them
So
to
here,
prepare.
to whom do you make the call? Who should do this refresher training?
Of course, now that one goes back to the stakeholders.
Yes.
It goes back to the stakeholders. Why? Because if it is a private institution, at the end of the day, the head teachers have to call their teachers back. Let the head teachers know that, hey, are you still in the system? Should we still recognize you? Should we consider you? Understand? We don't want our schools to open and then you're not. Yes, you have other businesses. That is one. Then secondly, let them call their teachers and speak to them. Tell them that, you know what, this is, we have been in this kind of a situation, but we are in it together. The Banyoro said, Tulihamu omobusas. Yes. So, we are in this together. So, at the end of the day, if they do that, at least they are trying to do what? To motivate them. Then third, let them have at least a program. Let them polish them. Let them have that polishing so that at the end of the day, they remember what they have been doing, what they were teaching previously. So that is on the side of what can really be done, who is supposed to do what. And then government, then for government at least they can allocate a budget. Yeah, the other time I was saying that security, they want to supplement, they want Honorable the Minister of ICT, that is Chris Bariomonsi, was actually saying it would do us good if we actually had some more budget on what? On security, because on these attacks we're having here and there, we need, you understand? But again, the same security takes the biggest share, understand? Because it is about 30.4%, which is about 7, it is about 7 trillion, understand? On 41 trillion, and it is taking all that money. I think it is even more. So, if we can have the government come out to support, it's on teachers. It's on teachers. Yes, you've given them the monthly salary, but they have been eating it. Government, we want to assure you that those teachers were eating that money, that salary that you've been giving them. But now we want to see that how do you support them again?
Exactly.
Can you have a training for them? A 1 week training just to polish these people, to get back to the system. Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Elijah. It has been a very brief but nice discussion about reopening of schools, and we are coming to realize that all together, all the cycle in academic or in schools line, none of them is prepared.
Yes, none of them is prepared.
And the government is only prepared at announcing level. Because we've not, anyway, maybe they have the plans of having refresher trainings for teachers, of having psychological counseling, any counselings to these teachers. You know, teachers have been undergoing a lot.
If you talk about having the plans, who doesn't know that the president will be speaking this day? In fact, when he postpones, they even see, hey, now, like, someone sent me a message, was like, the president was supposed to speak on Friday. What happened? Although I'm his spokesperson.
So you
understand?
That was yesterday.
Yes, to yesterday. Understand? They asked me, in fact, they asked me yesterday in the evening, and I'm like, man, what happened? Understand? I told them the gentleman is actually speaking when? At around 8 to 30, something like that. Understand? So, what am I trying to say? When he's going to speak, everyone knows. Is aware. So now, if there was a program that is supposed to refresh or that is supposed to polish these teachers, we would know. We would know. All the teachers themselves would know. But we've not heard about that, and it's just a month.
There is the other.
I mean, we're even getting to the festive season. People will go for.
Thing I would want us to just hint on it as we conclude. Do you think teachers who are teaching arts they have the morale to really go back to school when schools are open?
Now,
specifically to arts teachers, and what is your say about that?
Now, the first mistake that the government did was to demoralize the art teachers. How? When they were looking at increasing salaries, who did they increase? The science teachers. So that actually showed them how irrelevant
They are.
how irrelevant. You see, these things look like jokes, but the fact they are serious things. Personally, I was an art student. You understand? Yes. So I'm just imagining if I went to be a teacher, what could be happening to me right now. I mean, everyone has always said, you see, when you're a teacher, you cannot fail to get what to do.
Yes.
You understand? How? What is what to do right now? You understand? So now, the art teachers were demoralized.
Sure.
And I want to tell you that unless something is done, art teachers, you will see most of the art teachers. You see now the beauty with arts, it is not like science. When you're in arts, there is a way you expand your brain. Yes, you can switch and do something else very fast, which is different from a science teacher. Those people are rigid in their systems.
If they switch and leave, how will the world be?
So that is now where the problem
comes. The world can't
comes.
only be for scientists. I mean, a scientist can't come here and sensitize the community.
Exactly.
Even scientists need social workers to actually talk to the people about what they are doing in science field. So really, I think also at my perspective, the government have to rethink. Because first of all, the head teachers are arts people, and you're heading a school where a science teacher is earning more than you. So will you have the powers to even really tell this science teacher to do the right thing? So these are really questions to discuss going forward. But
we have we have very many questions.
Yes.
But most of them are not answered questions, and that goes back to the people, the heads of states, and everything. You see, all these issues couldn't be here if we handled this issue very, very very fast. But also, we should not lament so much that the government delayed to open the schools, because it was simply giving everyone time for them to do what? For them to prepare again. The other day when unfortunately we've not talked so much about the young girls who have gotten pregnant in the process, because now how are they prepared?
Yes.
Something that I wanted to also advocate for is, can we have a clear plan of those young girls that have gotten pregnant but they still want to go back to schools? You see,
but the government says they will be allowed in school.
They will be allowed in schools. The government, you understand, but the private teachers, I mean the private institutions, are they ready to deal with the pregnant girls?
In most cases, they want to spoil.
Away from that, yes, they're spoiling the children. Away from that, how with the children themselves that are pregnant? I mean, you're going to. We are assuming that maybe by December, I mean by January, we shall have a child who is 2 weeks pregnant. Yakafuna Wakufesti has gotten there. Understand? Yes. So how would they sit with their fellow students in class? And then secondly, how would they mother? They are mothering, children are mothering. You understand? The children, you understand? So how would they start dealing with that kind of a situation? So what am I trying to bring out? If we can have other serious programs. When we were growing up, for us, we used to hear of clubs like PSA.
Yes,
and the initiative on whatever. You understand? We used to hear straight talk.
Young talk.
Those things. So those things were taken for granted, and we do not have them today. But those are the structures that could really keep these young girls.
And trust me, with the availability of too much science in school, these things are going to get out.
I mean, people want to practice.
I'm telling you.
They want to see how practical these things really are. So now we cannot phase out these structures that have been supporting us to have our children what. So I'm advocating for more sex education in the schools. That should be one of the staunch, if it is a club, if it is sex club, if they are rejuvenating PSA, I hope they won't misuse the clubs. Young talk, if we can have those programs come back in a full mode, so that these children, you can always have time to speak to them that, hey, we have been in lockdown. We know you've been exposed to too much sex. Understand? Can you know the disadvantages of you continuously engaging in these acts? Yes. Understand? If you continue, you're going to be like this person.
Sure.
And then the other people that already, the young girls that already.
And then there's no, it is quite contradicting. You'll say if you continue with this, you're going to look like this. And then again you say, but she has gone back to school and she's doing well. So how I think I pray for people who are really specialists in that to draw a very good plan to support our young mothers. Of course, they are young mothers.
Yeah, but we cannot have this whole economy. You see, Uganda has the youngest population.
Yes.
And we cannot have this whole economy of these young girls pregnant. The other day we were discussing about, was it even today when we were talking about,
the Sustainable Development Goals?
No, when we were talking about, it was on the women. How the women support in development. You understand?
Yeah,
now, these young girls have dropped out of school. These young girls have gone for marriage. These young girls have gotten pregnant. The only thing that could equip them are the schools. And although at the end of the day, the schools have been closed. The schools have been closed and they have resorted to some other things. So now, how do we deal with that kind of economy that is uneducated? Now we are going back to what they fought for in the bush. Yes, that is where we are going. So now,
of course, Elijah, let's summarize.
Yes, we should be.
And give us your last say about education and preparedness of learners and parents and all other stakeholders towards the opening of schools in 2022.
Okay, the very first thing I'm going to do it in a chronological order, but from down to up. I'll start with the learners. Learners should actually know that the only key to success is what? Education. Learners should actually make sure that they educate themselves as much as they can. Let them get exposed. Let them learn. Learning should not do what? Learning should not end. You understand?
Yeah.
So, even if they're finding a lot of challenges, we've all had the challenges, but as the president also mentioned, pregnancy does not what? Does not kill. Yes.
It's not a disease.
It is not a disease. It just brings some
some
challenges, some small challenges, but you can deal with those what? Those challenges. But I wouldn't say that because pregnancy does not kill, others have died, of course, but we are not encouraging you to go and start getting pregnant the way you want. We are only trying to show you that if you got pregnant, it shouldn't be the end of life. That is not the end of your story. Get yourself together and make sure that you're back in school.
Sure.
For those that have not yet experienced that kind of a life, try as much as you can to overcome the obstacles. We know the economy is not good everywhere, but try. Use the available resources. There are a lot of stories to tell. Those ones we shall have them for next time. And then secondly, I will go to the teachers. The teachers, these are our only saviors. The teacher will educate the engineer, will educate whoever, the lawyer,
the president, the MP.
Yes. So please, our teachers, you're the ones who are giving us good presidents. Understand? The other year I was seeing Robert Chagulanyi. If it was not for a teacher, in whatever university that you went to, or in whatever school they went to, understand, he wouldn't be in those kinds of discussions, and you understand that kind of standing for such positions. So the teachers, we really appreciate them so much, and we are saying, try as much as you can to keep in the system. We know things are not really going on well, but please come back on board. Come back on board, go back, revise. I remember in lockdown, I was looking for some company, and you know what I did? I started coaching. That is how bad life has treated me. So now I used to revise. I used to teach all subjects.
Primary, secondary.
In secondary. So I used to teach chemistry, biology, physics, history, geography. I used to teach.
After spending the whole night reading,
Now I used to know.
to teach a biology.
I used to know that tomorrow, you know what? I think I had my timetable. I'm going to be in this home, and then go to this home, and then go to this home, so that I carry out the coaching, because it was lockdown, and you see these things you have to hustle and get some money. So now there are serious parents who want their children to keep in the system.
Exactly.
So now what I used to do is to make sure that I look at my timetable. Tomorrow I have chemistry, biology, and I read. Get through. I used to read. I didn't even not understand what I'm reading, but I read. So what I did, I accepted to learn from the job. I used to learn from the job, but luckily enough, I used to, at least I knew some of the content, and you know when you revise something and it sticks, that is exactly what you put there. Don't accept questions. So yes, so that is what I used to do. So the teachers, at least for them, they have studied these things. It is their profession, and they can be able to do it, to revise those things. Sure. We are encouraging them. As much as you've been in border riding, money is so sweet, but please have that human, that heart to see that we educate this economy or this country. So away from the teachers, now the schools. The schools, yes, we know you've already gone into business of lodges, guest houses, things to do with the granaries, your stores, and all that, and whatever thing that you're doing with the schools, more especially the private schools. Yeah, we pray that you get prepared as early as now. Sure. Yes, have conversations with how government can actually be able to support, to see that at the end of the day, you're also back in the system, because you're very, very important. You are the whole gist of everything. So we need to see that you work on that. And then what else? Talked about the parents. Yes, now the parents. The parents should actually make sure they have conversations with their children, because the first teacher is your parent, is a parent. If you don't speak to your daughter, if you don't speak to your son, don't expect this grand old teachers now to speak on your behalf, because now for them they are doing other things. Yes. So as parents, let us continue to take care of our children. Let us stop these things of they are safe while in school. Yes, school is very safe for the children, but what are you doing? You yourself do something and make sure that your child is back in school. Then to government. Government, yes, as I conclude, government, you're our last resort, if not even the first one. You're the people that we are running to before we even think of anything else. We cannot think of the bank before we think of you, because at least we know government will have at least a fair loan policy. Yes. You understand? So, as I told you earlier, I'm a would advocate for the government to come up with structures like they have done in Emyoga, like they have done in the parish development model, like they have done in the youth livelihood, YLP, yes, program. So, let us have the schools get at least some money that they can borrow and be able to pay back later, because the government itself, like you've seen the Tele Express, they are paying, they said, I don't know how many years, 40 something years. They built you the road and you're paying in years to come. Yeah. So we can have the same thing for the children, for the teachers. Get us the soft loans, so that we keep in the system. But otherwise, I would like to appreciate so much Gertrude for hosting me on the platform on Elkem Media. Our viewers, thank you so much. We really appreciate, because I'm actually following. Thank you so much, Gertrude.
Okay, thank you so much, Elijah, and thank you really to accept and sit on that chair. You know, at times when you use the posing questions, at times when you call and then you start dodging. Okay, thank you so much, our viewers of the Elkem Media, and thank you for following. Please continue sharing and liking, and of course anything that has been aired out here is not of the Elkem Media, but it is personal opinion and towards education. I also conclude by saying, let's please prepare ourselves, let's prepare our children, let's also talk to the government to organize the policies to help those who are depressed, so that we all attain development coming forward. Thank you. God bless you.